Have you seen this? If you've seen Quest of the Delta Knights, Prisoners of the Lost Universe, or Ator the Fighting Eagle, you probably did it while listening to our guests making fun of them.
Welcome to Have You Seen This?
The world's only podcast about obscure, overlooked, and misbegotten media.
All discussions will be spoiler heavy.
You have been warned.
This show would not be possible without the support of our patrons. If you would like to support our show, join us at patreon.com/haveyouseenthis. For just $5 a month, get access to our Discord and all 3 episodes every month covering movies you've never heard of, or maybe wish you hadn't. Am I crazy, or is there a reference to this movie in an episode of Spaced where there's like a guy who gets mad at if someone says it's rubbish and he punches them?
Yeah, that's Tim Minchin, I think. But we're bearing the lead. Jen, it isn't just the two of us talking at each other.
It's not.
Who do we have for this episode?
Oh, God.
No, unfortunately.
There's someone else here. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. I invited them. So we have with us William the Jokester, Lord of the Twin Cities of the Icy North, Corbett, and Sean, Jape Teller of the Angelic City of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, Thomason. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Hello, William here. A name I have not gone by since nuns in 3rd grade were calling me that.
William.
Usually accompanied by a sharp blow to the hand with a ruler after that.
That sounds like a nun.
Were you writing with the sinister hand? Was that the problem?
Yeah, well, I was lefty. I still am lefty. They didn't beat it out of me, but
so was my grandpa.
It wasn't quite corporal punishment when I was there. This was post-Vatican II. So it was more shaming and, discouragement.
Well, I'm so glad that
I'm
so glad that there are people on Twitter trying to roll that shit back, by which I mean Vatican II. But
Vatican III, I think we're really going to get it right. Vatican, it's going to be abusive but also fun. I think they're going to finally find the blend.
Vatican 3.0.
Yeah, Vatican 2.1b. It's a bug fix. We're gonna get some things right.
Yeah, be sure and join the beta. But what are we talking about today, Tim?
We're talking about Hawk the Slayer from 1985, part of a sword and sorcery quasi-resurgence.
I suppose so. This was right on the cusp of some things like other things that Tim hates, like Krull.
Yeah. I think that's another Rifftrax, as a matter of fact.
Which we've all also done. We did it as a live show.
Yeah, the Glaive. I saw Krull a lot as a kid. It was fun to go.
Glaive.
Why did you see Krull a lot? I have to ask.
Why?
Yeah.
Why did anything happen to me as a child? I was left in front of a television. TBS. I mean, I think the answer to why I liked fantasy stuff.
The true answer, though, is because it ruled.
Yeah.
Right.
Spiky boomerangs.
I like Krull in spite of the fact that it's not good. The thing about Krull is that there are elements to the movie that you could make an argument for. I don't know if you can do that for this movie, but we'll get to that. The reason why I asked Bill and Sean to join us is because for a while there, they had a really great podcast called Ringheads, in which they did a deep dive into Lord of the Rings and Tolkien. I actually learned a lot about Tolkien I didn't know from that show. And I believe the show is still available to listen to wherever you get your favorite podcasts. But listen to this episode first.
Yeah,
we got here
this
first.
episode. Think about it for a while. Just consider whether you could take hearing more of mine and Sean's voice.
Right. You might really get enough of us today.
Might be a no.
My part of it, too, is that, I'm watching Rifftrax and Mystery Science Theater on streaming plenty. I'm listening to 372 pages. I think that I know your guys' voices better than my own mother's.
Yeah, your mom doesn't have a podcast.
No, and I keep telling her to come on the show, but yeah.
Yeah,
and so... just blue sky in here. Tell her to do a Fast and Furious podcast. Moms love that stuff.
Yeah, she'd be into it.
Yeah.
She loves the whole racing scene.
Knowing your mom, Tim, I would absolutely listen to that. I would subscribe at a premium tier to hear your mom's takes on Fast and the Furious movies, but
as would many, but Ringheads.
But Bill and Sean are here because this movie strikes me as an ersatz Lord of the Rings, They're barely trying.
It's sort of the functionary of the rings.
Yeah.
The assistant to the regional manager.
Yeah.
And maybe one ring at most. I'm not sure if they can get to multiple rings in this movie.
And it's probably made of like fiberglass or something.
Yeah, the city comptroller of the fiberglass ring. Or silly string and bouncy balls, maybe?
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, because those do come up.
AKA magic, yes.
That's magic in this world.
But, speaking of chaotic bouncy balls, I'm just going to throw this out to the group. Who wants to give the short summary of what the fuck this movie is besides just fake Lord of the Rings?
I would leave it to the experts.
Well, why not? Bill, Sean?
Sean, you want to double team here?
Yeah, sure. So, Hawk the Slayer, he's not a hawk. Hawks don't really come up in any way.
Nope.
He is the much younger brother of Jack Palance, who is
like
evil.
40 years younger. Like, ridiculously younger.
Yeah, that you want to talk problematic age gaps? We got it in spades here.
It's the Oops Baby, like Gumby's little sister we talked about.
The Oops Baby. Hawk the Oops Baby was the original title.
Right, so we got this guy Hawk, or at least he's called
And you
Hawk.
see Jack Palance is goes and basically kills his dad, who is in a castle. You don't really learn much about the dad, but
Don't matter.
It's a fancy gold castle too. It's just like gilded sheetrock are the walls.
it does not look like a big deal. Frankly, I don't think this is a very powerful family. But
Looks like a day spa.
The funniest moment for me when I watched it originally, and if I watched it all again, was Jack Palance going in and threatening this guy, saying he's going to kill him. Then he says, "Father," to a guy who looks like his age, maybe even younger.
Yeah, they look like they were in army boot camp together.
Yeah, craggy old dudes.
Two guys, you'd see them in the gym locker room together, and you'd have to avert your eyes. They'd be
One thought comes to mind immediately, thanks to our obsession with it in Rifftrax. The talc.
Who's got the
talc.
water sack?
talc. You gotta talc.
Gotta talc them.
We have kind of a Mystery Science Theater swear jar for the show, but if I could just steal one of your jokes from Honor and Glory, what did they pull him out of grade school for the christening?
That's $10 in the jar, Tim.
So the old guy's dying. His other son, Hawk, who, as Sean said, has nothing to do with the hawk. I mean, the extent of his hawkness is a really awkward little animation that introduces the film and then, closes it. And that's it. He doesn't have a hawk. He doesn't act like a hawk. He doesn't eat hawks. I mean, there's nothing.
Hey, trained hawks cost money, so we're not going to have any real raptors here. We're lucky they have horses in this movie.
That's really true.
Yeah.
So the old man gives him a sword. It's one of those, I'm dying, I have no time, I've really got to tell you about this family secret I could have told you anytime during the last 3 decades. So there's a weird sword that has like the handle looks like a human hand in a fist. And then there's a jewel that comes out of somewhere and grasps it. And then it becomes a magic sword. And it's called the Mind Sword.
Which also doesn't come up or doesn't seem to really be explained.
No.
Yeah, the stone is supposed to be important, but in ways that the movie doesn't bother to tell us.
I think they called it an elven mind stone, which I think that's just somebody seeing Elf Stones of Shannara by Terry Brooks on a shelf and copying and pasting the phrase.
Yeah, we made that up, didn't we?
This is different enough to not be actionable.
Mind Sword sounds like some Elon Musk crap,
This shit's from Zales, quite frankly.
It's a sword that rusts. It's a new feature. Everyone loves it.
It's constantly falling apart and blowing up.
And to summon up the rest, because I obviously when I feel a responsibility, I'm like a dog with a bone here. I gotta sum this bitch up now.
Finish him.
Finish. To keep it shorter, he keeps meeting people who are his helpers, like some old warrior guy who honestly does not ever put up a fight worth calling him a warrior for. That guy.
He gets stabbed a lot.
He's basically a pincushion.
He begins the movie with his hand having been cut off.
Yeah, which, all right, I get it.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, you can get 2 extra episodes every month, plus access to our growing catalog of reviews for just $5 a month by going to patreon.com and searching for Have You Seen This?